English Step by Step, Gerunds and Infinitives, Step 1. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. And if you'd like to request a lesson, leave a comment in the box below. So the first question is, what is a gerund? Well, a gerund is the infinitive of a verb which has been changed into a noun by adding ing. So let's remind ourselves of what an infinitive is. The infinitive of the verb. For example, to swim. So that's the infinitive from which we have all the tenses. I swim, I swam, I have swum, etc. The infinitive is the basic form of the verb. For example, to swim, to have, to watch, to go. So you take the infinitive of the verb and you add ing to change it into a gerund. For example, swimming. To swim changes to swimming. In this case, we take the letter M and we double it. That's one of the rules about adding ing. Swimming has double M. Like running is another example with double N. Or putting has double T. Put, putting. So swimming, to have changes to having. And in this case, you can see we drop the E. So we don't say having, we drop the E, so it becomes having. Next one, to watch changes to watching. Go changes to going. In other words, the infinitive changes to the gerund. And here we have some examples of sentences. I enjoy swimming. I appreciate having a Wi-Fi connection. I recommend watching this film. I dislike going to the dentist. Now, in other languages, the grammar is different, of course. For example, in another language, it might be, I enjoy to swim. But in English, it's swimming. And again, in another language, maybe I appreciate to have. But in English, I appreciate having. Again, you don't say, I recommend to watch this film. No, you say, I recommend watching this film. I dislike to go to the dentist. No, I dislike going. So the best way to remember these and become familiar with them is to listen and read English, listen to and read English as much as possible, so that you hear enough examples that you know you need a gerund. I enjoy swimming. I appreciate having. I recommend watching. I dislike going. So there are many verbs which have the gerund form after it. Now here we have 4 examples. Enjoy plus ing. Appreciate plus ing. Recommend plus ing. Dislike plus ing. These are just 4 examples, so we're going to look at some more in the rest of this video. Now, an important thing to know about a gerund is that it functions in the same way as a noun in many sentences. So, for example, in these sentences you can use a noun or a gerund for the same idea. So let's look at these. I appreciate having a Wi-Fi connection. Now, the same idea could be, I appreciate the Wi-Fi connection. Next example, I recommend watching this film. Well, you could also say, I recommend this film. Also, I dislike going to the dentist. The same idea could be, I dislike the dentist. So, you can see a noun and a gerund have the same function in a sentence. Another important point about gerunds is that they can be the subject of a sentence, in the same way as a noun is often the subject of a sentence. Well, for example, here's a sentence with a gerund. I appreciate having a Wi-Fi connection. And we can put this gerund as the subject of the verb, in other words, the subject of the sentence, like this. Having a Wi-Fi connection is very convenient. So remember, we don't use to have a Wi-Fi connection, because it's the subject, we say having a Wi-Fi connection. Another example, I recommend watching this film. Now we can make watching the subject again, like this. Watching this film makes the children happy. Next example, I dislike going to the dentist. So, if we put going at the beginning, we can make a sentence like this. Going to the dentist fills me with anxiety. And here's another one. I enjoy swimming. Swimming is good for your health. So, you often begin a sentence with a gerund like swimming. Swimming is good for your health. Shopping, or going to the gym, or running. These can all be the subject of a sentence. So, as I mentioned before, many verbs in English are followed by the gerund. The most common one is enjoy. For example, I enjoy swimming. I enjoy visiting my friends. I enjoy drinking beer. So, you never say I enjoy to drink. It has to be I enjoy drinking. So that's one of the most common verbs with a gerund in English. But let's look at some more. Here we have delay. And a sentence could be like this. She delayed going to the dentist. In this case, delay has the same meaning as a phrasal verb, put off. She put off going to the dentist. So, after many phrasal verbs, you also use a gerund. Let's look at another example. Consider. He's considering changing his job. And you can see I've put consider into present continuous tense because the verb before the gerund can be in all different tenses. In this case, present continuous, he's considering changing his job. Next example, deny. The man denied stealing the money. Next one, feel like. Yes, this is a very common one. Do you feel like going to the cinema? That's another conversational way to say, would you like to go to the cinema? Do you feel like going to the cinema? Next one, finish. I haven't finished cooking yet. So you can see present perfect, I haven't finished. Whoops, sorry, I made a mistake here. It should be, I haven't finished. I haven't finished cooking yet. So there we have the ing with the gerund form on cooking. So we could also use started. I haven't started cooking yet. So finished and started are also followed by the gerund. So now you could move on to the step 2 video, in which you'll find a practice exercise with different verbs which are followed by the gerund. So do that one, and then you can find the answers in the follow-up video, which will be step 3.